Hello, what's up, guys? It's Will back once again for another fight card prediction. We're here for UFC Fight Island 8. Michael Chiesa against Neil Magny is our main event after coming off Max Holloway against Calvin Kattar at the weekend, and it was so good to have the UFC back. I mean, you have that break, and I was ready for that break, but my goodness, having the UFC back and having some of the finishes that we had, some of the upsets that we had, some of the performances we had, incredible night of fights, and looking to hopefully keep this running over here at a very, very, very early start time on Wednesday. And then we've got the pay-per-view on Saturday. So it's a good time. There's been a lot of fights. I've been trying to watch as much as I can. So much has gone on. But yeah, a lot of guys reached out to me regarding doing extra stuff, extra content. It's coming. I'm trying to get January out of the way. Been a little bit busy, and then again to February I'm going to start doing there. There's been people that's been reaching out regarding supporting the channel. I will get back to you on that. Much appreciated for that. So guys, if you're new to the channel, I'm still trying to push over that 4,000 subscribers. If we can get there, it'd be fantastic. And if you could throw a thumbs up, it would be awesome. I can see some of you guys in the chat there. Tiger Bomb MMA, I'm doing very well. Hope you're well. Fraz, I hope you're doing well, my man. I'm doing very good. A lot of fights on this card, some very good fights. Looking forward to talking about this one. And I'm actually, as soon as I finish this one here, I'm going to reset for maybe half an hour, and then I'm going to get my UFC 257 picks out. McGregor against Poirier 2. Moise Audio, hope you're well. Appreciate you kicking around. Appreciate the little bit of support there for the channel. That's much appreciated. Thank you, brother. But yeah, let's get into this card straight off the bat. A lot of fights to go through, and I'm looking forward to talking through these ones here. Victoria Leonardo against Manon Fiorot is the first fight of the night here. And Fiorot is a girl that I knew from a few years back when she fought in Cage Warriors, and then I kind of forgot about her out there, and I never really knew about her run in the UAE, like Dubai and such, where she won a title and so on there. Went back and watched her fights, and she's pretty much the same fighter from, I remember watching back, I even seen amateur fights of hers when she was coming through the IAAF, or whatever, the IMAF, I think it was. And I actually thought she won that fight in Cage Warriors. I thought that she was a little bit lucky to be in the kind of judges, the wrong side of the judges' scorecard there. What I really like is just her striking in general. I think she's got like a spearing left side kick that she uses. She throws in combination well. She's very aggressive, go push against the cage, will throw knees up close. Where I think her downfall is I think she can be taken down and maybe held there a little bit. And I think that's what Leonardo wants to do there. You've seen Leonardo against Chelsea Hackett, who at that point I think is just a little bit too inexperienced to be on Dana's show. I went into that one there. But what I liked, like I say, from Fiorot, I think she's very aggressive. I think she's got a little bit of power there, and you've seen that girls get really kind of scared off. I don't want to say scared off, but they realize her output, her varying attacks that she has, and she can absolutely kind of go through you a little bit, and she can keep a pace. So like I say, I think the big thing that I like here is just that overall output, and just that if she can keep the stun, I think she's going to run through. I don't want to say run through Victoria Leonardo. She's fought good girls. She's lost to good girls. I mean, Erin Blanchfield, I thoroughly believe she will be in the UFC this year. Miranda Maverick, she's got a couple of losses too. So I like Fiorot in this spot. She opened up like as an underdog as well in America, and I just knew there was no way that it was going to make the UK over here, where she was going to be. Oh, sorry, I think my dog's wanting out here. You want out? No? You going out? No, I think she's staying with me. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. The dog I thought was wanting out, but she's laying down sleeping with me. I like Fiorot in this spot. I think that I think she's the better overall striker. I think she's got a pace that she can keep there, and I think she will win this fight. Like I say, I was a little bit gutted that betting line kind of went through the roof once they realised. Once people started watching fights and so on. So yeah, I am on Fiorot here. I actually think she can take Leonardo out. So I've got her via TKO in the third round there. I was about to say the fourth round there, but that's not a 5-round fight. I'll just jump back into the chat and say hello to some of you guys there. Can't get myself focused in this car with 257 around the corner. I've been like that since Christmas, brother. Jack Attack, hope you're well. This is BP, says Brandon Phillip. I think I recognise you, brother. Schnell by decision. We'll see. We'll get around to that. Picking fights. Who we got here? What's up, Will? Good call on Di Chirico last Saturday. It was a good call, but I'm a big fanny for not betting it. It was either going to be Di Chirico or Condit inside the distance, and I went with Condit inside the distance. So kind of take too much credit with it. It is what it is, though. But we're getting onto this fight here. Umar Nurmagomedov against Sergey Morozov. Good fight, really interesting fight actually. I think the betting line is rather high. I don't think Nurmagomedov should be as high as says. I think the surname's kind of baked into that line a little bit. 12-0 undefeated fighter against, I think it's 16-4 former M1 challenge bantamweight champion in Morozov there. Like I say, Umar, what I've seen of him over the last couple of years, I remember he was in the PFL. I think that's where originally I was introduced to him. Then he kind of went in between promotions. He fought in like Khabib's now promotion, Eagles MMA, GFC or whatever it was called back in the day. And he's a kind of ilk of Khabib a little bit there. He has some decent striking, but he will obviously look to get this fight to the ground where he will look to kind of keep it there. And he can get takedowns out in the open. He can get takedowns against the cage. He can be very active with those takedowns and be very heavy on top. Where you're looking at Morozov, I think that like he's got some big power, and once he plants it, like his footwork isn't great, so you can kind of maneuver and feint round about him a little bit. But once he plants those feet and starts throwing some massive shots, he can really hurt you in some spots. Love his ground and pound, love his varying attacks with the spins and so on. He'll throw spinning back fists, spinning back elbows. He will really go off that. So like I say, I think Nurmagomedov as a favourite is correct, but what is the line? Is it like -500? That to me is a little bit wacky in that spot. So if you're looking to play this fight, I think maybe Nurmagomedov via decision or take a shot at Morozov. Like I say, I think he's a good fighter coming out of Kazakhstan. Got himself that belt that he was really wanting in M1 and then got his opportunity to come to the UFC here. But I do think he is how he wins this fight, I think he has to really hurt Nurmagomedov in the feet and really kind of put it on him and kind of go from there. So the pick's going to be Nurmagomedov, but if I was to put any money in this, I think I would rather take a shot on Morozov to maybe catch him on that chin. Not that we've seen any frailties with Nurmagomedov's chin. Both guys, in my opinion, have fought not the greatest caliber opposition, especially on Umar's side. I think that he's been fed a little bit too much. But yeah, I see some of you guys in the chat there. The line is ridiculous. Tiger Bomb MMA. I can't, like I say, I agree with you there. Michael Ross, what's up, Michael? Hope you're well. You're the only person that will pick dogs. Yeah, I like to target dogs, but I'll be honest, I'm kind of struggling to see some of the spots, but I do have some in this card. Pac-Man there, what's up? Hope you're well. I picked Keita. Oh, so yeah, that's not the greatest. So, Sergey gives up his back and scrambles. We've seen that as well. Yeah, absolutely. Nurmagomedov via sub. That's what initially I went with, but I thought Morozov's tough enough to tough it out. So, yeah, I'm going to go Nurmagomedov in that spot there. Ooh, this is a banger of a fight. I actually think this might be one of the better fights on the entire Fight Island week. Mike Davis against Mason Jones. Hands up. I am an absolute big believer in Mason Jones. I think he's a really, really good fighter, but I actually think this is not a great fight for him to kind of make his introduction to the UFC. Now, you look at the betting odds, he's like plus 160. He was like plus 200 in some spots a couple of weeks back. I mean, you're going to get your values worth with betting on a guy like Mason Jones who's so aggressive and can go after it. Obviously, I can bring up the Cage Warrior side of things. I've seen all this guy's fights through Cage Warriors. They built him up slowly, surely. They gave him good fights. He's came through some rough spots with it because he does get hit a lot. Like you look at Mason Jones and you watch his fights, he is very hittable, and that's something that I do think that he will not get away with in the UFC, especially in that lightweight division, which is the best division I think in the sport. So, but a double Cage Warriors champion, won the belt there, moved up to 170, beat Adam Proctor. Guy's got heavy leg kicks. He's a BJJ black belt under the Gracie lineage as well, judoka black belt. Like I say, and he's got a lot of power in his fist, but I think he is very hittable. And I like I say, what I love about Mason Jones, and I kind of know this a little bit, I think he was offered some different caliber guys, but he wanted the best guy possible, and he took the best guy possible. So Mike Davis was offered to him, wanted that fight, and it's got in here. I'm really happy to see him in the UFC, but I am going to be picking Mike Davis in this spot here. I like Mike Davis's boxing. I like some of the wrestling that I've seen. I think he's fought high caliber guys. We can go into the Gilbert Burns and the Sadiq Youssef fight, who are guys who are, I mean, one's going to be fighting for a belt in a couple of months' time. But like his destruction of Thomas Gifford, that's a big jump up, in my opinion, from Gifford to this guy, because Mason is going to fight his heart out. Gifford, I mean, the durability was there. That fight should have really been stopped kind of long ago, but it is what it is. I think this is a good spot for Mike Davis. Now, I'm interested to see, he's a guy that kind of moves around a little bit. He's been American Top Team, Fusion XL, he's been out in Thailand, and I quite like fighters like that really move around a little bit. There's a guy next up at UFC 257 I like for that, and that's Arman Tsarukyan, where he goes from Black House to American Top Team to Tiger Muay Thai. He floats around and gets the best he can from different guys, and then comes back to Russia, trains with Peter Yan and so on, and does all that. I like that, learning from kind of different camps and so on. But Mike Davis, to me, I really like his long, fluid striking. I think that his speed could be something that really could bother Mason Jones here. I think if Mason gets too aggressive, like I say, that's Mason Jones. Mason Jones is just super aggressive. He's going to come for you. He doesn't want to sit back. He wants to really come after you. I just think this is not the greatest opponent in your debut. I really don't. I really am desperate for the kid to win, because really nice guy, and he's a great fighter to watch. I think there's going to be some spots in the UFC where, against not the greatest opposition, like you might get some good odds in this guy, and I think eventually he will start beating half decent fighters, but I think he's going to take a few licks in the UFC. I think he's going to build himself up in the UFC. I just don't like this fight for him. I think Mike Davis is very slick, very fluid with his striking, a good counter puncher, good speed, good power. I'm actually going to pick him to knock out Mason Jones. I think that Mason's going to get too aggressive. He's going to eat some shots. If you go back and watch the Formula fight, the McColgan fight, he gets hit, especially the Formula one. That was like 4 or 5 fights ago probably, and he gets hit with some big shots, gets busted up, but Mason Jones just comes through like he usually does. I really hope he wins, but my official pick is going to be Mike Davis in this spot, but the betting line intrigues me on Mason Jones at plus 160. That kid is going to like fight for your money in that spot. So I can see some of you guys there. Pac-Man Paxton, I appreciate that. That's much appreciated, brother. That will help me out somewhat. Mason Jones from Jack Attack. Didn't see that coming there. It's just how I see it. Like I say, I really want him to win, but I think Mike Davis is a really solid fighter himself. So yeah. Francisco Figueiredo against Jerome Rivera. I think you'll recognise that surname. A guy that's not been around for a little bit is Figueiredo. I think he's pretty much getting in here kind of off his brother's back a little bit, which is all fair and good, I suppose. He's got 11-3 record, 3-1 record there. So, but he's a guy that's not kind of fought the greatest caliber opposition, you could kind of say. So I wasn't super impressed with what I see. I mean, there's some of the mannerisms that kind of remind me of Davison a little bit, but he's definitely not on the same kind of totem pole as what his brother is there. And he's got himself I don't want to say it's a bad fight in his UFC debut, but I actually think I think it's a winnable fight for both guys, actually. I think that a lot of people are just picking this guy because of the surname. If you watch his fights, I'm not overly super impressed. I watched his jungle fights one. There was a couple of spots in there where he can take fights to the ground, but there's also spots where he can be taken down. He'll blatantly grab the fence. There was one there with a fence grab where he got a point taken away. I'm not too sure in this guy in the UFC. I'm really not. And Jerome Rivera, like I said, I'm not super high in him either, but I think that he's faced some good caliber opposition. obviously got knocked out by Tyson Nam, which, I mean, Tyson Nam, really the way he kind of wins fights is through that power. He kind of stalks you and throws that one big shot, and if that one big shot lands, you're in a lot of trouble there. The Luis Rodriguez fight, a lot of people scored that for Luis Rodriguez. I thought it was close. I thought probably he did deserve, Rodriguez deserved that decision. So came in short notice, got knocked out. This is a more winnable fight, in my opinion, here against Figueiredo, and I've got him there. I think that he's very dangerous on the mat. Obviously, you look at Figueiredo, who's got submission wins to his name as well. He's obviously a little bit well-versed down there. But I just think that there's more grit to the game of Jerome Rivera. And I think that I don't want to say he'll want this more. But I've just got a feeling that I'd rather take the shot in the dog. I wasn't super impressed from Francisco in that spot. So I'll take Jerome Rivera for that one there. Kyle Marley, Big Marley, what's happening, brother? Hope you and the family are well, and all the best for 2021. What's up, Thomas? Hope you're well, brother. Really, really happy that these fights are back, man. This has been great to have these fights back, but Rivera's going to be the pick there. Dalcha Lungambula against Marcus Perez. I'm a stickler for Marcus Perez. I don't know what it is. I bet him last time out against Drees du Plessis. And I was like, yes, Marcus, keep doing what you're doing. And then he ends up getting knocked out. I was like, well, shit. There that goes. So, like I say, I'm not sure this is a great fight for him either. I know that Dalcha's coming down to middleweight. When you look at Perez, how he really kind of wins his fights is through that grappling of his. He likes to try and be a little bit wild on the feet, throw some kind of unorthodox stuff there and try and get the fight to the ground. And once he gets it there, he can be really good with his positioning and everything down there. He can move to different positions and hold some control time there. We've seen that in the Botanovic fight. He worked his way to the back there, got the rear naked choke. And then in the Hernandez fight, he got the anaconda choke. So he's very crafty when he's down there. I just don't think he's going to get Dalcha down there. That's the problem. Dalcha is not a big output guy. I know he's a judo black belt as well, so he's a thick, set-out guy. And he's really tough to get down. Not, like I say, not a hell of a lot of output to him. I can't believe he's actually, I don't think there's a guy in the UFC that's maybe fought back-to-back South Africans in this spot there. But yeah, Perez, like I say, he's a guy that I've bet on in the past, and I kind of get drawn to him. I don't know why, because I mean, he's not great on the feet. He's very wild. He's open to being hit. The power comes from Lungambula. He's been looking to have a fight for a few months now, with various fights falling through. The Roberson fight, and I can't remember his other opponent there. I'm staying away from Marcus Perez this time. Just watch. He'll come through as a dog. I'm going to take Dalcha in a pretty, I don't want to say a boring fight, but I think he'll take a decision in this one here. So I'll take Dalcha for the win. Flyweight division, Mudaerji against Zarrukh Adashev. Love this spot for Mudaerji. I'm, like I say, there's some fighters that deserve to be in the UFC and there's some that don't. Zarrukh Adashev is a guy that would never be in the UFC if he was not in this kind of COVID environment. And he came in out of shape for that last fight against Tyson Nam, and then missed weight. That if you look at his, I think it was his Instagram that I seen like a couple of days before that, he knew he had a fight and he was still eating cheeseburgers and stuff. So I don't know what he was doing there, but he got knocked out dead against Tyson Nam. And that's what Tyson Nam can do, actually. We spoke about Tyson Nam a little bit, where he can line you up. If he catches you with that shot, you're in deep, deep trouble. Mudaerji, on the other hand, I think this is a guy you really need to keep an eye on in 2021 and 2022 specifically. I think that the guy's got very fluid, straight striking, really good. I think there's a massive jump when, like, I only watched 3 fights for this one here. I watched these UFC fights. You look at the jump from Smolka to his last win against Malcolm Gordon, clean striking. You can see that he's getting better, more confident with his skills. He's elevating his skills. You even seen that in the Sukumtath fight where he picked his shots really well. And Sukumtath is not the greatest fighter, but he's an awkward guy because he's hard to get out of there. He's not the easiest guy to put away. But Malcolm Gordon, I mean, he went out there, blasted that guy and treated him accordingly, got him out of there as quickly as possible, got himself a performance bonus. I think that these fluid, clean shots will hit Adashev here and knock him out. So I'm very, very interested in Mudaerji, maybe by knockout. And And in DraftKings, I'll probably be having a good look at Mudaerji in that spot there. So, yeah, I'm on Mudaerji in that spot there. I can see a couple of guys in the chat there. I hope you're very well. I appreciate you for sticking around. Will tell me Lazzez will finish Alves. I need to win a bet. We'll get to that in a little bit. If there's anybody that's for betting against Lazzez, it's probably me, because considering I tried to max bet fade him last time, that didn't work out too well. So yeah. But yeah, let's keep going on with this fight card here. Ricky Simón against Gaetano Pirello is up next. And when I heard that Simón was fighting on this card, and I heard that name that he was being pitted against, I was like, I've watched that guy fight before, and he fought a long time ago. I think it was 2014, I believe it was, against Arnold Allen, and Arnold came through in that spot there, and I remember that guy there, so I went back and watched a few fights, and honestly, he hasn't really changed all too much. I think he's pretty much a bit of a brawler. I think there's a lot of flaws in his game, and one of his biggest flaws is takedown defense. And against someone like Ricky Simón, if that's a big flaw of yours, I think he's going to take advantage of that. And I liked him in that spot. And I've actually got Ricky Simón in a parlay with someone else on this card here. So yeah, that's kind of what I see. He's a brawler by nature, good in the clinch. You have to be careful. I think that's where he will want the fight to be. If he can get it in close there, and like I say, Ricky Simón's been knocked out. Uriah Faber caught him clean. If he can. If he can catch that one clean shot and then to his button and put him down, then he can absolutely do it. I just don't see this here. I see Ricky Simón kind of using some of his strikings to get those takedowns, and I think that he will kind of maul him on the ground. Actually, I think that a submission's in play here for Ricky Simón. But like I say, from what I see from Pirello, in the clinch, he's very, very dangerous. Will throw lots of knees, will throw lots of volume, and he can throw some fairly decent combinations. Pretty explosive. In all of his attacks, and I think that he can kind of wear himself out a little bit with that. I don't think his footwork's great. I think his head movement's a little bit kind of lacking a little bit, like Ricky Simón, if you don't know already. So I'll take Ricky Simón. Actually, I'll take him via submission in that spot. I think that that's a good spot to maybe get him inside the distance. If not, he will run train on Pirello there and get numerous takedowns. So I've got Ricky Simón in that spot there. I keep losing my train of thought there, guys. Omari Akhmedov against Tom Breese. Really good fight. I'm looking forward to seeing Tom Breese. I've always been a believer in Tom Breese's skills, and really nice guy coming through. I remember when he was fighting in Dublin many years ago, he was just... because, like I said, I've kind of known him for a long time, and he was asking how the family was. So, like I said, a really nice guy, but he's got himself a tough fight here. And a lot of people kind of rag on Tom Breese a little bit, but I think his skills are very, very good. I think if the mindset's all there with the skills that he has, I think he's a really tough fighter to kind of beat. But Akhmedov is one of those guys that is always in the fight, and you've seen that with his kind of loss to Weidman. That's a sucky loss to have, like Chris Weidman in 2020. But before that, he had a couple of really nice wins over Zach Cummins and Ian Heinisch, a guy that's going to be there for 15 minutes. I think he's very hittable. I think that Tom Breese on the feet, he can pierce that jab through and kind of keep him at the end of that jab. But I just think that Akhmedov is really going to keep this fight very, very close. Now, we've seen, I don't want to say Tom Breese quit. I've seen numerous people actually message me and say, who have you got in this fight? And I would never pick Tom Breese because he quit in that Brendan Allen fight. And I don't really see it that way. I just think Brendan Allen just kind of buzzsawed through him a little bit, and Tom Breese just didn't really know kind of what to do from there, which it's obviously not a great look, considering he was coming back in there. Like, he's had numerous problems with anxiety and depression and so on. So that's all stuff there that you don't really like to hear, but it is what it is. He rebounded against Kibi Bula, who, I don't think he looked all that great. He got sparked out in that one in the first round. I'm seeing, actually, there's some people that have laid some big money down in Tom Breese, and I'm like, I don't know if that's, I don't want to say it's bias, because a couple of people have been big fans of his for many years, but I know a couple of people that have put some fairly healthy money on Tom Breese. like I say, I like Tom Breese a lot, but I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to go Omari Akhmedov to win this one here. I think that he keeps it very, very close. But I'm trying to think, how does he beat Tom Breese? Because I've said that Tom Breese is the better overall striker and can keep him at a kind of length there where he maybe can't get in and throw those big cinder blocks. So actually, you know what? I'm going to pick Tom Breese. I'm going to change my mind in this one. Initially, my gut feeling was Tom Breese. I've kind of moved over to Akhmedov, but I'm going to go with Tom Breese. Just because I want Tom Breese to win as well. Like I say, I'm not going to be betting that fight. I want nothing really to do with that. Yeah, actually, the more I kind of think about it, Tom Breese, I'm thinking if Akhmedov has to get in to really maybe get those shots off, I think he could end up eating some big shots. Tom Breese is going to be my pick there. Sorry for flip-flopping on you guys there. So, yeah, I'm going to get back to the chat, guys. Just want to say hello and make sure I'm not missing anything there. Just my 2 cents. What's happening, my man? Hope you're well. Brent Pierce, off topic, but Cerrone took a dive from Money Mac. No, I don't believe that. That's BS. I don't believe that at all, but much respect to you. Z's MMA, my man, what's up? I think Breeze is going to light him up en route to a TKO finish, or Omari gets on top and does damage to Breeze, maybe breaks him. I took the doesn't go to decision and a bet on under 2.5. I don't mind that at all. If Breeze didn't murder Bula with a jab, he would be the favourite in my opinion. True that. Right, let's keep going. Where are we at? On to the main card. Lerone Murphy against Douglas Silva de Andrade. I'll tell you what, Lerone Murphy has really surprised me, and I've said this in previous videos, because before his UFC debut, and it's kind of weird that I don't know people coming out the UK scene, but I knew nothing of Lerone Murphy, and that was kept very, very quiet to me when he came into the UFC, but I've been really pleasantly surprised in Lerone. I think he looks a really good fighter, good specimen, comes in there, goes to a draw with Tuhugov, who Tuhugov's taking him down, and he's getting back to his feet and keeping it really competitive on there, and then he goes out there, and I was confident. I thought that Ramos would beat him in that spot, but he went out there, ground and pound, really big knockout. I think he's a very well put together fighter. And like I say, considering he came through the scene that, I usually kind of watch these guys coming through the UK scene, but I was completely oblivious to this guy. I don't know how I missed him. Nobody even said anything to me regarding him. I usually get guys come and say, you need to watch this guy, I had nothing there. And he's facing Douglas de Silva de Andrade. Now, the betting line is minus, let me bring this betting line up, sorry, because I've bet Lerone Murphy. I've got him in that parlay with Ricky Simone. Let me just bring the lines up here. I'm flipping between pages, guys. So, he's minus 310 now. Oh, shit. I didn't realize he was that high. So you're getting plus 255 in Douglas de Silva de Andrade. That's a high line for him, in my opinion. I think the line on Lerone should be a little bit lower, but I do think he should be the rightful favourite here. Douglas de Silva de Andrade, like I say, as Z would say, a kind of good soldier, well put together guy. But I think you can break him down with strikes. You've seen Peter Yan's the champion. Obviously, he can do that to many people. But you've got a guy with nearly 30 fights there, coming off a really good win over. Anytime you beat a former champion, it's a good win. So beating Renan Barão's a really good look. Beating Chito Vera's obviously a really good look as well. But I just think Lerone is too slick, and I think eventually over the 15 minutes of this fight, he's going to break him down with that slick striking. So for me, I've got Lerone Murphy just being a little bit too slick, a little bit too good. Might have to come through some dangerous spots here. But I've got Lerone Murphy parlayed up with Ricky Simone, 2.5 units at minus 117, I believe it is. Quite like that parlay. I've had some people hit me up and saying, dude, why do you do parlays? And parlay was I used to do parlays a lot when I was a youngster, and it's something I always like doing. But I've never been one of these guys to do 5-fighter parlays. I've always really stuck to 2. Very occasionally you'll see me throw 3 in that I'm very confident in. But 2, if I can get 2 guys that I can get around about plus money, then I'll take it. This is a little bit less than that, but I like the spot regardless. So I've got Lerone Murphy in that spot there as my only bet that I have so far in this card. Matt Schnell against Tyson Nam. Now, someone, I think it was Brandon earlier on in this chat here, was talking about Matt Schnell. I actually really like Matt Schnell here as an underdog as well. I think that he is, I think he's a decent dog you can target if you've got some, if there's some dogs you want to maybe attack. Like the fact that it's in a bigger cage. I think if he can maneuver around the cage a little bit more and not be in line for that shot like I was talking about with Tyson Nam, then I think he can win out a decision here. If he can get the fight to the ground, I know Nam's a big dude, but I think Schnell is I think overall as a fighter, is just a little bit better fighter, but I think that his chin is obviously something that, if you're going into this fight, that's something that you don't like, because Nam's got massive, massive power. And all it really takes from that guy is just one shot to really streamline you and absolutely put you on your backside. So I like Matt Schnell in this spot. I think he's fought some really good fighters. He's taken his licks against some guys. He's one of those guys that I think will always kind of make slight improvements and will always be decent in the UFC. I think could keep him around for a long time. Tyson Nam, again, doesn't throw all that much volume, but when he throws it, you have to be super careful here. So I think that he needs to keep it distance. I think he needs to be on his bike, use angles, feint a lot, try and put off Nam from throwing those big shots, keep his back against the cage, and mix it up. I think that he can mix it up here and win this fight. So, like I said, I've never been a big Matt Schnell kind of believer, but I think at dog odds here, I think that I think he's a really viable dog in this spot, and I actually really like him here. So I'm going to take Matt Schnell to win this fight via a decision in that one there. But I think he might have to come through some squally moments in that one. This is one that really interests me. Roxanne Modaferri against Vivane Araujo. Now, you've got Vivane Araujo, I think, the rightful favourite. But then you've got, she's minus 330, and then you've got the comeback on Modaferri at plus 270. This could be the type of fight that Roxanne Modaferri could really start to kind of grow into this fight. And I would be a little bit wary of playing Vivane Araujo. Obviously, on the feet, she's got mad skills against someone like Roxanne, who's not got great striking, but she's very strong. And if she can get this fight to the ground, then I think she can have large spots in this fight where she's keeping Araujo there. I think Araujo's going to come out. I think she's going to win the first fairly easily. But as we go into 2 and 3, round 2 and especially round 2 is going to be very important, because if Roxanne can get the arms around her, get her to the ground, and kind of have any amount of time of holding her there, then I think she's a live dog in this spot. I really do. I think that the betting line's a wee bit off. I can see why she's the favourite, but like I said, I would like that betting line to be a little bit lower. And this is the kind of spots that Roxanne Modaferri seems to really come through in. You can never be confident betting a girl like Roxanne Modaferri, but she's game, man. She's so game. And she will at least give a good account of herself, and that's all you can really ask for someone who's been around for she has, and coming off that win over Andrade where she was getting the fight to the ground and kind of keeping her there for large spots there. This is a tough one, because I like I said, I can see why Araujo's such a good favourite, because her striking is so much more slicker. She could hit someone like Roxanne a lot, and potentially maybe even put her out there. But I think that Roxanne, if she can get those mitts on her, I think can have spots in this fight where she can potentially make this a lot closer than what the kind of betting line suggests. But I've never really been one for betting on Roxanne Modaferri fights. I know there's some people out there that have bet her when she was underdog against Andrea Lee, against Macy Barber, and you guys are awesome. Like, you are the guys. Like, if you're catching these plus 250s, plus 350s, even bigger number than that. So my pick's going to be, I'm going to chicken out and go with Araujo. But I kind of think that Modaferri's live in that spot. I think that to have it maybe 70-30, maybe for Araujo. So I think the line could be a little bit lower, but I'm going to go Vivane Araujo. I will go a knockout. I'll go knockout at the end of the second. So yeah, for me. So moving on. Isaac Villanueva against Vinicius Moreira. Kind of no idea why this fight is so far up the card. If it was me, I'd be throwing Mike Davis and Mason Jones up in here, or throwing a Tom Breese or a Akhmedov in here. But no reason for me to kind of think why this fight's so high. Both guys who I think will be fighting for their jobs here. Mamute, the only way he's winning this fight if he can get this fight to the ground. Villanueva will have the advantage on the feet. But in a fight like this, I was watching a couple of fights of these guys, and I'm just like, in a fight like this where I'm watching, I'm thinking, right, obviously one guy's got the one advantage there, the other guy's got the other advantage, but I've not liked what I've seen out of kind of both these guys in the regional scene, especially on the Villanueva side. Like I say, he might be another one of these guys that would never make it to the UFC without the whole COVID thing going on in 2020, but got his shot here. A game guy took a lick against Chase Sherman and then got taken out in that one there in the second round. Then Jordan Wright kind of put a beating on him and took him out there in the third round. The doctor stopped that, but he's a game guy. He will fight on through that. He will have absolutely fought through that. Moreira, like, he's a guy that's lost 3 straight in the UFC. I seen that there was a USADA thing that popped up with this guy, and he's been allowed to fight in this one here. So I don't know the full story on that, but his losses there, just reading up on Menefield, Eric Anders, and Paul Craig, and he's been stopped in them ones there. So if you're confident in either guy here, I'm going to take the dog. I'm not going to bet the fight, but I would rather just coin flip fight, in my opinion. I'll take a shot in the dog and kind of go from there. I know there's a couple of people that kind of messaged me wanting to bet this fight, and it's like, these are some of the spots I really want to try and stay away from this year. Sometimes I've got pulled into some of these fights where I don't want to go anywhere near them, or I have got pulled into them where I really shouldn't be anywhere near them. That's what I'm trying to say. But I think he gets the fight to the ground. I think he submits him, and once he gets the fight to the ground, he is very good, very heavy down there in that spot. So I'll take Vinicius Moreira to win that one there. Okay, co-main event of the night, Warlley Alves against Mounir Lazzez. And like I say, I've already mentioned it. I tried to max bet fade Mounir Lazzez, and in hindsight, really bad bet in my part, taking Abdul Razak Al Hassan there, considering what he was coming off, missing weight. But like I say, he's not come back the same fight. He's lost his mojo as that, but you cannot take anything away from Mounir Lazzez in that fight. I thought he fought a really, really good game plan. Sniper striker, can keep you at the outside, good movement, a lot of dangerous aspects to his game. I think what was the fight I watched? The Christopher Van Dijk fight there, which showed some of the limitations, I think, against a grappler that he could have. But when do you ever really see Warlley Alves kind of going for takedowns? Not very often at all. I think that he is a very dangerous fighter, Warlley Alves, but for me in this one here, I think he's got a crappy gas tank. I think he's really submission or bust. I don't think he can hang with Lazzez on the feet. For the most part, I think he's only got maybe 5 to 7 minutes of kind of gas in him, where that he will attempt to maybe clinch up here, maybe jump on a guillotine like he has done in the past. We know some of the things that he's did in the past with beating certain guys, like your Covingtons and so on, where if he gets that in, you're in a lot of trouble, and you can be in a kind of tough spot against that guy. But this line opened up really egregious, and like I've kind of poked fun at some guys for all tailing each other, and I can see why you guys are all kind of on the Lazzez hype train here, considering what the line is. I mean, I kind of do believe if you get anything under minus 200 with this guy, you're looking pretty decent. I know there's some guys that got like minus 130, minus 120 around the spot. That's a great spot, honestly. I'm staying away from Mounir Lazzez right now. I'm going to kind of evaluate him and see a little bit more from him, because like I say, I lost enough money going against that guy last time out. But I do like the angles. I do like some of his shot selections. Very good, very long, good shots. Will mix in kicks. And like you say, like I said before, Warlley Alves doesn't really attempt all too many takedowns. I think if he was to do that here and maybe tire out Lazzez a little bit and maybe get the fight to the ground, he would have a spot here. But I think there's a decent spot here for Lazzez under 2.5 rounds, inside the distance, whatever it may be. I think that he can knock out someone like Warlley Alves, and I'm going to pick him to kind of do so, if not win a fairly comfortable decision. So I know there was my man Z's in there, and he's saying looking for a bet to win. Yeah, I'm going to take Lazzez. I'm going to take him via TKO in that one there. Billy Brisbane, nothing much. Need the Godfather to drop some nuggets on some of these British dudes. I'm picking against most of the British dudes, to be fair. Actually, no, I'm actually picking against a Welsh dude. That's what it is. So yeah. Regardless, set up fight for Ike. Oh, you think that? Interesting. Like I say, I don't want anything in that fight, but I wish you all the best if you go in there. UFC Gambler Alex, what's up, Leighton? Hope you're well, brother. All the best for 2021. Go follow him and subscribe to his channel if you don't. Over there on YouTube, he's got a great channel there that's kind of grew very, very big over the last year, and much support to that guy, like anybody else that makes predictions week in and week out here. Smash the likes, brothers. Yeah, do it. Main event time. Michael Chiesa against Neil Magny. Kind of been going a little bit back and forward in this fight. I'm not going to have any action in this one, I don't think. But my pick is going to be Neil Magny in this one here. I'm seeing a lot of love for Michael Chiesa. I'm seeing some people that have messaged me like, I think the betting line should be reversed here. I think Michael Chiesa should be the favourite and Magny should be the dog. Now, if Magny was the dog, I think I would be interested in that spot. Because, like I said, I've got Neil Magny in this fight here, but there is some glaring weaknesses, or there has been in the past, some glaring weaknesses where Neil Magny could be in a difficult spot here because he has been taken down, or has been known to be taken down and controlled a little bit. But when I kind of look at this fight here, I think that Michael Chiesa, that's his only way that he wins this fight, that if he can find a submission, or I'm not sure whether for 25 minutes he can consistently take this fight to the ground and stay dominant down there. So if he can't get the submission, and in saying Michael Chiesa, once he gets the fight to the ground, like the dude is super, super strong, like really a strong grappler. And when you do that to someone like Dos Anjos as well, I'm kind of a little bit like Dos Anjos is still a very good fighter, a named fighter. But I think that a lot was taken out of him when he's fought the elite guys in that division, your Covingtons, your Usmans, and so on. And he got beat up pretty badly in those spots. He's always a game fighter, but I think Chiesa got him at a good time. And that kind of knocked someone like Dos Anjos out of that division, took him back down to 155. Still a great performance against Felder, but I think if Felder had more time for that fight, I think it'd be a lot closer than what it initially ended up being. Ran through Diego Sanchez, Carlos Condit. Really, he's very easy to take down and control on the ground. We've seen that at the weekend. Matt Brown, who's not really known for that, kind of had spots in that fight where he kept it there. So for me, Michael Chiesa has to get this fight down consistently and be opportunistic in the submission attempts there. We've seen that. I watched someone brought up, a good buddy of mine brought up the Beneil Dariush fight. Like, he submitted Beneil Dariush. Feather in your cap, absolutely. Beneil Dariush is a great fighter and a great jiu-jitsu fighter as well. But watch the first 5 minutes of that fight. He was getting his ass beaten that fight. Like, if that fight didn't finish the way it did, and it was more like the first round, and he was starting to deplete a little bit, was Benny, but Beneil Dariush was going to win that fight, I think, pretty comfortably. But like I say, where Michael Chiesa shines is with that strength, that body lock, pushing you against the cage, tripping you out, getting you to the ground, being very dominant on the ground. And like I say, we have seen Neil Magny in the past lose to very elite grapplers, and that's what it is that he has lost to. Obviously, Dos Anjos, there's a Damian Maia back in the day, but I'm a big admirer of Neil Magny for the simple reason that if you were to tell me, and I think I say this probably every video, if you were to tell me the way that this guy's risen into the top 10, I think, in that division at one point, and main evented cards and fought some big guys in that division. I mean, your Condits, your Ponzinibbio's, RDA, whoever it may be, Lawrence Larkin, Gastelum, great win back in the day. And then he's came through, Li Jingliang, a lot of people against him there, came through as a good dog there. Rocco Martin thought he had a great performance. Robbie Lawler, that's a named win to have in your record there. I think if this fight goes on late, I think that Neil Magny can have more output. I think he can, if he can especially keep this fight on the feet, I think he can win rounds fairly easily, because I don't see Michael Chiesa being all that dangerous on the feet. Throws some decent body kicks and throws kind of wide wing and hooks, but his main part of his game is to get you into a clinch, a body lock, and take the fight to the ground. Now, he could have spots in this fight where he has good control time, good top time, but I think if he can avoid that submission, Magny, I think that he can win out a decision. So that's kind of where I'm leaning in that fight. I'm seeing a lot of, I know boy MMA Kelton, Ricky Bropix, UFC Bropix, they're all on Michael Chiesa in that spot, and I know there's numerous others in that spot too, but for me, I'm kind of on the Neil Magny side. I think that he kind of avoids some of the big spots on the ground with Chiesa, and then ultimately wins a decision. It could be a very, very close fight, though, but I'm going to pick Neil Magny in the main event of the night there. Okay, I'm going to get back into the chat here before I head off. Like I say, keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to be back on here. I'm probably going to give myself 30 minutes, go and say hello to the daughter and the missus and make sure everything's okay. And then I'm going to do a UFC 257. So if you're around, hopefully you'll join me for that one. If anybody's throwing a thumbs up, I'm much, much appreciated. I've had 3 or 4 people send in donations here. Always appreciated. I mean, all the very, very best, guys. Like I say, I really do appreciate everybody being here. What's going on here? I think the wise little goat's having a shot at the gambling addicts. What's the deal with that? So, yeah. Failed child actor. Oh, is this who we think this is? Oh, I see. The wise little goat. Is this Mr. BK, is it? Little bitch king, is it? So, yeah, for those reasons, Chiesa will win the fight. I'm shit at picking fights. Magny's win over Leach. What was that? Sorry, I seen that there. Magny's win over Leach looks better in retrospect after last weekend. You know what? I had a kind of feeling, and in my predictions, I picked Ponzinibbio. So, yeah, what it is. But the Leach is always dangerous. I mean, he's a guy with big, big power. So, yeah. Right, guys, I'm going to get going. I'm actually going to go for a piss before I piss myself. But appreciate everybody for sticking around. Win your bets. Remember, this card starts like 3 p.m. here in the UK on Wednesday. So I'm having no break at work, and I'm going to try and get home for the start of these fights for that. Until UFC 257, I'll not be far away, guys. Keep an eye on that. I'll see you all then. Take care. Enjoy the fights and cash some bets. All the best.